Have you ever wondered what was the most beautiful, most luxurious, or most imposing car to ever cruise the streets in the 1970s? That decade was the stage for true masterpieces of classic motoring, where bold design, raw power, and unrestrained luxury came together to create machines that are now admired as rolling works of art. In this video, we're going to relive some of the most unforgettable cars from that era. Cars that shaped generations, defined style, and remain the dream of countless collectors. And if this kind of content excites you, inspires you, or simply takes you on a ride through time, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. Because here, we don't just talk about cars. We bring legends back to life. 1976 Cadillac Eldorado. Have you ever wondered what it felt like to drive a living symbol of excess, luxury, and pure American elegance from the 1970s? Picture this. The sun is setting over a never-ending highway, and you, with one arm resting on the wide, pillarless window frame, glide effortlessly down the road aboard a Cadillac Eldorado. It's more than just a car. It's a statement of power, style, and an era that's long gone. This 224-inch land yacht, weighing nearly 4,800 pounds, was the last gasp of true front-wheel drive American luxury cars with monstrous V8s just before environmental regulations and the oil crisis changed everything. Under the hood, it packed a colossal 500 cubic inch V8 that produced just 190 horsepower. Yes, the power numbers dropped due to new regulations, but with over 360 pound-feet of torque, it still pulled like a freight train. What makes the 1976 Eldorado so special is that it marked the end of an era. It was the last mass-produced convertible Cadillac, at least for a while. That alone made it an instant collectible. Cadillac even numbered each of the 14,000 convertible units with a commemorative plaque, treating each car like a time capsule. Today, one of these Eldorados can sell for anywhere from $35,000 to $90,000, depending on condition and originality. A true treasure that has aged with grace. But the Eldorado wasn't just about smooth cruising. Its cabin was a rolling lounge, heated leather seats, automatic climate control, a premium sound system, and enough space to cross the entire country without ever feeling like you left home. It was the car of movie stars, politicians, and anyone who wanted to be seen and remembered. Fun fact, the 1976 Eldorado was so symbolic that some owners never even drove theirs. They kept it wrapped in plastic as an emotional investment, a pristine piece of opulent, free-spirited, dream-filled America. 1975 Buick Electra, 225. They say size doesn't matter, but in the 1970s, the Electra strongly disagreed. This road-going colossus wasn't just massive, it was a quiet statement that comfort and presence could coexist in perfect harmony. If there was ever such a thing as a living room on wheels gliding down the highway like it was floating, this was it. Nicknamed the Deuce and a Quarter, thanks to its imposing 225-inch length, that's over 18.7 feet. The 1975 Electra was one of the last true full-size sedans before the industry began shrinking its ambitions in the wake of the oil crisis. Built on GM's sturdy C-body platform, the Electra combined the strength of a tank with the elegance of a luxury suite. Under its long hood lay a monstrous 455 cubic inch V8 that produced around 205 horsepower and nearly 345 pound-feet of torque, more than enough to move its 4,900-pound frame with remarkable smoothness. This wasn't a car built for drag strips. It was built for the kind of ride where the world outside disappeared. The steering felt like butter, and the silence inside could make a library jealous. Inside, it was peak American comfort. Plush, overstuffed seats, chrome everywhere, charming faux wood paneling, and a sweeping dashboard that made the driver feel like the captain of a ship. Power windows, air conditioning, cruise control, and even individual ashtrays and lighters for each passenger were common. It sounds excessive today, but back then, it was pure refinement. And here's the kicker. Despite its size, the Electra was surprisingly popular as a family car. People wanted space, comfort, and a little bit of flair. And the Electra delivered unapologetically. In 1975, Buick sold over 150,000 units of the Electra, especially in the U.S., where it symbolized the American dream in its most expansive form. Today, a well-maintained 1975 Electra 225 can sell for anywhere between $12,000 and $30,000, though pristine collectible examples can fetch much more. But its real value? The emotional reaction it sparks. Who wouldn't smile seeing that massive chrome grille catching the late afternoon sun? 1971, Buick Riviera. Some cars aren't satisfied with being beautiful. They need to be unforgettable. The 71 Riviera wasn't designed to please everyone. It was built to provoke reactions, turn heads, and leave visual scars. Its iconic boat-tail rear end, inspired by classic yachts and vintage racers like the Auburn Speedster, made it one of the most polarizing designs in automotive history. You either loved it or didn't get it. But indifferent? Never. Designed by Bill Mitchell, one of GM's most daring creative minds, this Riviera launched the model's third generation. With its muscular silhouette and sharply tapered rear, like a teardrop in reverse, it looked fast even when parked. The design was so bold that some Buick execs called it too futuristic, and they might have been right, because there's never been and never will be anything quite like it again. Beneath the hood, the Riviera housed a formidable 455 cubic inch V8, putting out 315 horsepower and nearly 450 pound-feet of torque. Thanks to rear-wheel drive and a turbo-hydromatic transmission, this wasn't just a pretty face. It could do 0 to 60 miles per hour in under 8 seconds. Impressive for a car weighing more than 4,400 pounds. Inside, it was a luxury lounge. The interior featured rich materials like wood, leather, and chrome. The dashboard was driver-oriented, like a sports car, but with Cadillac-level comfort. It came equipped with air conditioning, power windows, AM/FM stereo, and adjustable seats that turned every drive into a near-ceremonial experience. Buick built about 33,800 units in 1971, making it relatively rare today. While it didn't set sales records initially, the boat-tail Riviera eventually became a cult icon among collectors and design enthusiasts. A pristine 71 Riviera can now fetch over $45,000, especially if all its original features are intact. Fun fact, the design was so radical that Buick toned it down in later years. But purists know, 1971 was the most daring, the most pure, the most Mitchell-esque Riviera ever made. It's a visual, mechanical, and emotional gem. And now we want to hear from you. Have you ever seen one of these in person? Does it bring back memories of youth, family, or dreams? Let us know in the comments. If you had to choose between bold design or classic elegance, what would you go for? 1975. Chrysler Imperial LeBaron. Some cars weren't built just to move. They were built to rule. And if there was a king among full-size American sedans in the 1970s, it was the Imperial LeBaron. Imagine opening a door the size of a wall, sinking into a seat as plush as a Ritz-Carlton armchair, and watching the outside world turn to a whisper as this rolling mansion comes to life. That was the LeBaron, unapologetic luxury. At nearly 19.6 feet long, this colossus was bigger than even its Cadillac and Lincoln rivals. Its boxy design, sharp angles, and hidden headlights weren't chasing agility or modern flair. They were commanding respect, and it got it. Every chrome-trimmed corner, every squared-off panel declared, "I'm not here to race, I'm here to impress." Under the massive hood lay a 440 cubic inch V8 engine producing around 215 horsepower and over 317 pound-feet of torque. It wasn't built for speed, but the way it delivered power was so smooth it felt like gliding over a red carpet. Its torsion-quiet suspension system was engineered to erase any imperfection on the road, turning every drive into a heavenly cruise. The interior was on another level, literally a moving lounge. Velour or leather upholstery, wood grain style panels, round analog gauges, golden accents, and every comfort feature imaginable. From automatic climate control and power mirrors to a tilt steering wheel and ambient lighting that made every evening drive feel like a gala. Only about 8,830 units were built that year, making it a rare and highly sought-after piece today for collectors who understand what it represents. The final breath of Imperial as a standalone brand under Chrysler. After 1975, the Imperial name would be absorbed into other lines. In many ways, this was the end of an era. Today, a well-preserved Imperial LeBaron can go for anywhere between $20,000 and $50,000, depending on originality and condition. But more than its price, its true value lies in the experience. Driving one feels like time travel to an America where luxury meant physical grandeur and undeniable presence. 1972, Chevrolet Monte Carlo. If the 1970s were a song, the Monte Carlo would be its guitar solo. Elegant, emotional, and full of soul. This two-door coupe didn't need to roar to get noticed. One look at its long front end, smooth lines, and clean rear told you there was something special here. The Monte Carlo wasn't a pure muscle car. It was for those who wanted class, but with a touch of rebellion, the perfect blend of luxury and personality. The 1972 model marked the end of the first generation of this iconic personal luxury coupe, and it went out at its peak. With over 258,000 units sold, it was one of Chevrolet's most popular models that year. Part of its success came from offering the look of a high-end car at a more accessible price. It had Cadillac presence, without the Cadillac cost. Under the hood, the Monte Carlo offered several engine options. The most desirable was the 454 cubic inch V8, delivering around 270 horsepower and over 380 pound-feet of torque, with a surprisingly smooth acceleration for such a large car. There were also more domestic versions like the 350 or 402 V8s, ideal for drivers prioritizing comfort over speed. Design-wise, the Monte Carlo stood out with its long wheelbase and vertical slatted chrome grille. The roofline gently sloped toward a clean, understated rear. Inside, it was just as appealing. Wood grain-style trim, wide plush seats, and a simple yet effective dashboard. Features like power steering, air conditioning, AM/FM stereo, and front disc brakes were standard or optional depending on trim level. Fun fact, despite its sophisticated looks, many Monte Carlos from this era were modified for drag racing. Yes, some owners stripped off the chrome, bumped up the compression ratios, and turned this refined coupe into a straight-line beast, a car with a double identity, just like any true classic with character. Today, a 1972 Monte Carlo in good condition can cost between $15,000 and $35,000, with original 454 equipped models commanding a premium. It's one of those cars that bridges two worlds, family road trip nostalgia and the teenage dream of flooring the gas pedal. 1972 Lincoln Continental Mark IV. In the 1970s, if you wanted to show the world you'd made it, you didn't need to say a word. You just needed a Lincoln Continental. This behemoth wasn't just a luxury car, it was a statement of status, taste, and quiet power. With its unmistakable silhouette, near imperial proportions, and details bordering on theatrical, the Mark IV took the concept of a personal luxury coupe to a whole new level. Stretching over 19 feet long, its design blended classical elements with Baroque flair. One of its most iconic features was the faux spare tire hump integrated into the trunk lid, a signature of the Mark series, and a neoclassical-inspired vertical grille. Chrome moldings, hidden headlights, and a softly sloping roofline made it a showstopper even while parked. Under the hood sat a massive 460 cubic inch V8, producing 224 horsepower and 362 pound-feet of torque, paired with a smooth-shifting 3-speed automatic and rear-wheel drive. But the Mark IV wasn't about raw speed, it was about gliding. Thanks to its ultra-soft suspension and exceptional sound insulation, the cabin felt like a temple of silence on wheels. Inside, it was all about opulence and comfort. Power-adjustable lounge-style seats, faux mahogany trim, padded panels, analog-style clocks, and split climate control. Options included a vinyl roof, power windows, cruise control, and an auto-tuning radio. Every ride felt like a first-class experience. In 1972 alone, Lincoln sold over 48,000 Mark IVs, cementing its status as the car of choice for executives, celebrities, and public figures. It wasn't rare to see one pulling up under camera flashes at red carpet events or parked outside five-star hotels. Today, a pristine Mark IV goes for $25,000 to $50,000, with special edition trims like the Cartier fetching even higher prices. More than a car, it's a time capsule from an era when luxury was all about presence, space, and indulgent detail. And now, a question for those who lived through it or admire it from afar. Does the Mark IV represent the pinnacle of American luxury? Or would you rather have the Riviera's boldness or the Monte Carlo's understated elegance? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let the debate begin. 1974, AMC Matador Coupe. In an era dominated by automotive giants like Cadillac, Lincoln, and Chevrolet, AMC decided to take a risk. In 1974, they introduced the Matador Coupe, a creation that didn't ask for permission. It just showed up and made its presence known. Its design was so unconventional, so bold, that it split opinions from day one. But with time, many came to recognize it for what it truly was. A cult gem ahead of its time, now coveted by serious collectors. The first thing that grabs you is the design. Aerodynamic, rounded, almost futuristic. It was a complete departure from the boxy styles that ruled the decade. Its massive wraparound windshield, hidden headlights behind a thin chrome strip, and fastback-style profile made it look more like a concept car than a production model. Designed by the bold French-American stylist Richard Teague, the Matador Coupe broke all the rules, and proudly so. Under the hood, several engine options were available, with the top tier being a 401 cubic inch V8, pushing 235 horsepower and over 332 pound-feet of torque. While not exactly lightweight, it tipped the scales at over 4,100 pounds. It handled itself admirably on the road, thanks to its low center of gravity and surprisingly refined suspension. Inside, it was peak 70s charm, padded panels, velour or vinyl seats, metallic accents on the center console, and a driver-focused dashboard. AMC aimed to offer an affordable alternative to traditional luxury without compromising style or character. In its first year, AMC sold around 62,000 units of the Matador Coupe. Not a blockbuster, but respectable. Over time, it became a true rarity. Its cameo in The Man with the Golden Gun, where it sprouts wings and takes flight during a Bond chase, only added to its legend and appeal among enthusiasts. Finding a well-kept Matador Coupe today is a true score. Prices range from $12,000 to $28,000, but its real value lies in its uniqueness. There's nothing else quite like it. It's the kind of car that, when it drives by, makes people turn their heads and say, "What the hell was that?" 1976, Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham. In 1976, American automotive luxury reached its highest and longest point. With the Cadillac Fleetwood Brougham, this wasn't just a car. It was a rolling monument to success, elegant excess, and the American dream in its most stretched-out, chrome-drenched, velvet-lined form. If the Lincoln Mark IV was a symbol of quiet power, the Fleetwood Brougham was a golden shout of presence and authority. At 19.6 feet long, the Brougham was among the longest production cars ever built in the United States. And rightfully so. Its road presence was so commanding that other cars seemed to part in reverence. Every line, every inch of chrome, every shining Cadillac crest in the sun, it was theatrical, exuberant, and utterly unforgettable. Under its monumental hood lived an 8.2-liter V8 engine producing 190 horsepower and an impressive 360 pound-feet of torque. This giant wasn't built for speed, it was built to glide. Thanks to its high-drop pneumatic suspension and ultra-soft power steering, driving it felt like captaining a land yacht with the city slowly drifting by like your own private parade. Inside, the Brougham offered one of the most luxurious environments ever fitted to a production car. Couch-like seats in velvet or leather, wide armrests, full wood trim, courtesy lights, chrome-lidded ashtrays, power windows, automatic climate control, and even an optional illuminated rear-reading lamp. Honestly, it was more comfortable than many apartments of the era. In 1976, Cadillac built over 49,000 Fleetwood Broughams, but each one felt like a custom creation. Today, a well-preserved example can fetch between $20,000 and $45,000. Though for die-hard fans, its emotional value is priceless. Because this wasn't just a car. It was a time capsule from an era where luxury didn't whisper, it roared. 1974, Dodge Monaco. Big, heavy, and styled more for brute strength than finesse, the Dodge Monaco didn't ask for attention. It took it. With a length over 18.7 feet and weighing nearly 4,400 pounds, the Monaco was built to last. Its 1974 design, with dual headlights and a bold front grille, featured a square and aggressive front end, wraparound metal moldings, and a clean yet commanding rear. It might not have been beautiful by classic standards, but it had undeniable presence, and sometimes that's all you need. Under the hood, buyers had plenty of choices, from the 5.2-liter V8 up to the fearsome 7.2-liter big block, producing up to 275 horsepower and 354 pound-feet of torque. Paired with a 3-speed automatic and rear-wheel drive, the Monaco was built for long, comfortable highway drives, and, as it turns out, legendary car chases. Yes, the 1974 Dodge Monaco was immortalized in pop culture. Remember the Blues Brothers? The Blues Mobile that tore through the streets in some of the most chaotic and iconic car chases in film history? That was a 74 Monaco. The role instantly elevated the car to cult status, especially among film buffs, pop culture fans, and lovers of muscle cars on the edge of extinction. Inside, it was simple but functional. Rectangular gauges, thin steering wheel, durable upholstery, and loads of space. It didn't try to rival Cadillac in luxury, but it offered comfort, power, and attitude. 3 ingredients that quietly made it a legend. Today, finding a clean Dodge Monaco is no easy feat. Prices range between $10,000 and $25,000, but what collectors truly value is its authenticity. Because not many cars can say they starred in one of the most epic chase scenes in movie history. And now it's your turn. Movie love or nostalgic soul? Did you recognize this model from the Blues Brothers? Or maybe it reminds you of your childhood, parked outside a neighbor's house. Tell us in the comments. Which car on this list deserves to star in a movie today? Because the story of the automobile isn't just written on the road, it's written on the big screen and in your memories. 1976, Chevrolet Caprice Classic. If the 1970s had an official car, many would say it was this one, the Caprice. It wasn't the most luxurious, the most powerful, or the flashiest, but it was the perfect balance. The Caprice was the quintessential full-size sedan from middle-class America. It was the car of big families, Sunday drives, and on-highway vacations. It wasn't just seen on the streets, it was heard in family stories. With a body stretching nearly 19 feet long, the 1976 Caprice Classic was one of the last great American sedans before the downsizing era took hold. Its design was restrained yet elegant, Squared lines, a wraparound chrome grille, twin headlights with rectangular trim, and a stately profile that inspired trust. It didn't scream for attention, it earned respect. Under the hood, it came with options like the reliable 5.7-liter V8 or the more robust 6.6-liter V8, delivering between 165 and 180 horsepower, depending on tuning and state regulations. Power wasn't its main draw. Comfort and ride smoothness were its true legends, making it ideal for crossing state lines without breaking a sweat. Inside, the Caprice blended space, practicality, and a touch of refinement. Sofa-style seats, velour or vinyl upholstery, a wide dashboard with circular gauges, air conditioning, power steering, front disc brakes, and even an AM/FM stereo radio made it everything a family needed to feel safe and well cared for. In 1976 alone, Chevrolet sold over 212,000 units of the Caprice Classic, making it one of the most popular cars of the decade. It was everywhere, on suburban streets, in supermarket parking lots, outside schools. It was as much a part of daily life as the television set or the backyard barbecue. Today, a well-preserved Caprice Classic can fetch between $12,000 and $30,000, but its real value is emotional. For many, seeing one is like stepping back into childhood. Hearing the muffled growl of its V8 starting up is like flipping through a photo album, with the smell of gasoline and aged leather in the air. And there you have it, true icons on wheels that turned the 1970s into a decade of elegance, boldness, and excess. Each of these cars wasn't just a machine. It was a statement, a lifestyle, a piece of living history. Now it's your turn. Which of these models stole your heart? If you could only have one parked in your garage, which would it be? And why? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Every click helps us keep sharing the automotive stories that should never be forgotten. Still craving more? Then don't miss our video on the most beautiful muscle cars of the 1970s. Power, attitude, and wild beauty await you on the next ride.